What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Central. And the Knicks lose 113-100 to the Denver Nuggets in game 69 of the regular season. Not so nice because that game, it was unfortunate. They took the L. It's hard to be mad when they go 3-1 on the road trip with losing OG Anunoby in it, with not having Randall still, not having Mitch, and those three were missing and it was very apparent, I should say, in this game. Hartenstein did have a very good game, so I'm not trying to take away from what he was, but man, it was just a tough task for the Knicks to stop MPJ, to stop Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray too. Even it was a tough task for them, but mostly the size of the Denver Nuggets from Jokic and MPJ. I mean, each of them had 30 points in this one. It's hard to be mad when this is what it's been. Like, this is just what it is and what it's been, that the injuries continue to hurt this basketball team. And Josh Hart didn't have as solid of a performance as he's had lately. So, and as expected, to be honest, though, as expected, because of the fact that going up against a team with that much size, Deuce McBride gets the nod in the starting rotation or the starting lineup, I should say, because he had a good game in Golden State. Don't know if I agree with it, because I think Precious Achiuwa was the smarter pick just to get more size in the lineup. But I don't know if it would have made a difference even then, because Precious Achiuwa lately has been getting bullied by some of these big men in the league. So I don't know how much more of a difference it would have made. The only difference that could have been made in this game is if they were healthy. It's simple as that. Before I jump further into the recap here, leave a like if you enjoy this video. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Knicks fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. But yeah, it's just hard to be mad, because they did stay very competitive throughout most of this game as well. Like, the first quarter, they played a pretty good first quarter, like a very good first quarter, surprisingly. Second quarter, pretty solid till the end. Third quarter rolls along. They get the doors blown off of them. But then towards the end, they start to pick up some momentum, and they go on like a 12-2 run going into the fourth quarter, and they make it a 2-point game at one point, and you're like, all right, maybe the Knicks are going to win this game. And surprisingly, too, Alec Burks is the one leading the damn charge with the bench scoring there. He dropped 18 tonight, and you know what? As much as I get on Alec Burks, I realized I forgot to put him in the box score there, the one time that he actually did well. But as much as I get on Alec Burks for not playing well, he had a very solid performance in this one, and he tried his best to get the bench to help scoring, but Bojan Bogdanovic had one three-pointer and went home for the night because he didn't do anything else outside of that. And yeah, it was going to be hard for him to keep up with the scoring. Dante, he tried. He had some good threes, had some good scoring touch to his game, but not enough to go toe-to-toe with the Denver Nuggets. Jalen Brunson didn't have a 30 to 40-point night in store tonight, so it was going to be hard to win without him doing that, to be honest with you. And then Josh Hart, like I said, disappointing with only 2 points on the night, isn't going to be a recipe for success either. And you could just tell by the rebound numbers looking at this. It was not even close on the glass. It was not even close. The Knicks had 4 offensive boards in this game. That's tough to win a game. And the fact that they even put up 100 points having just 4 offensive boards in the game is pretty impressive. You're not getting a lot of second chance points there. And the only time you are is off of the few offensive boards that you got. And on top of that, a couple of lucky turnovers there that you end up forcing there. But regardless, it was not going to be an easy game, and it wasn't. And again, I can't feel mad, because what is there to complain about other than beating the same drum over and over again about how this team is dealing with injuries and it's handicapping them from winning games? It just is. And now they fall to the 5th seed behind the Orlando Magic, so they would have to start on the road. Granted, that would probably be more like a home game because it's in Orlando, so let's be honest. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. The playoffs are still like a month away or so. I'm not worried about that. I think the Knicks could still claw their way back in, especially if Randall and Mitch could get back on the court soon. But it's just annoying knowing what January was and watching the Knicks as well, take care of business in January against this same Nuggets squad. only for this to be the case where OG Anunoby, again, he gets hurt in the middle of this road trip, and it throws everything out of whack. It really does. And I still am not feeling panicked yet, and I'm still feeling confident in this basketball team to go out there and finish top 6 in the East, because I'm still not worried about Philadelphia pulling ahead. I'm maybe worried about Indiana or Miami. Not entirely worried, but I don't know. You got a big game against the Brooklyn Nets here on Saturday. Not big game in terms of the fact that they need to, beat the Nets, but you got to take advantage, I should say, of beating a team like the Brooklyn Nets, who are not that great of a team this year. You got to be able to beat a 26-win Brooklyn Nets team and take care of business there. If you don't, that's bad. And that's really what the goal should be for the rest of the season at this point for the Knicks, is take advantage of the games that you could and win the games that you could. Like, I'm so serious about this, and usually I'm the type of guy that criticizes performances, even against top teams, because it's like, you got to beat the best to be the best. But with these injuries, it's hard to even do that right now. So I'm at the point where you play the Nets, you got to beat them. You play Detroit, have to beat them. Toronto, you got to beat them. The Spurs, definitely got to beat them. I mean, that's a team you definitely got to beat. OKC, that one's going to be a tougher matchup. Then you play Miami, Sacramento. Like, then there's a little bit of a rough stretch here. You play Chicago, which should be winnable, maybe. And then Milwaukee, Chicago, Boston. Like, there are some rough games here. Hopefully by then you do have Randall and Mitch to come back. But these next few games, what did I list? Like 4 games in a row? The next 4 games in a row up until March 29th. Or no, up until March 31st, I should say. Happy birthday to me, because they're going to get their ass kicked by OKC, it feels like, right? But the next 4 games should be very winnable for this team with the injuries that they have. Especially because Toronto's banged up in their own right, too. And then you have teams that just are at the bottom of the barrel here. You got to take advantage of what you got here in front of you and beat these bad teams, because if you don't, and you go, even if they go 3-1, you're putting yourself in a very big hole potentially to fall out of the top 6 and have to be in the play-in matchup, which, again, I like this team's chances if they had to play a play-in tournament outside of maybe playing Miami, which, again, would worry me, but I still like the chances of them playing in the play-in and going out there and winning. But you don't want to be in that spot. And it's very avoidable winning these 4 games by winning these 4 games in a row. And I still feel they're going to scrape a couple wins here against Chicago. You scrape a win maybe again. I mean, they have Brooklyn again later on. Maybe they could scrape a win against either Miami or Sacramento again. But it's going to be a tall order. Really not going to be easy in terms of late down the stretch what they have, but it's hard to be mad about this type of effort when they just didn't have the size to match up, and they didn't have the scoring to outduel them. Simple as that. That's why they lost this game. There's really not even a whole lot to recap here. I more so talked about the Knicks going forward, because that's really more the concern than game 69 of the season. You got to control yourself, and you got to win these next few games to stay above that play-in line, because you do not want to play in the play-in tournament. Simple as that. Leave a like if you have not already, though, on the post-game show. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. And I'll see you guys in the next one.